I never liked those photos with you earlier, sir.
Glamour shots?
I didn't like it. I didn't show up
I didn't even
prepared.
look at mine.
I needed to lose about 10 pounds and get a tan.
Do you not like your voice when you listen back to the races?
Never.
I don't think anybody likes their voice when they hear it back.
Nobody likes mine.
Garrett Smithley gets us going in the Zero. Was the 14 car last year, moves to the Zero this season. Still driving for Bobby Dotter, SS Greenlight Racing. Take me behind the wheel with these drivers and the mindset. You go out, you make a lap, and how do you get adjusted to this stage of the day?
Well, what a way to start your day. 10 a.m., go out, almost 200 miles per hour. Garrett Smithley coming to get the green right here. They fortunately got a little bit of practice yesterday, so you got an idea of what your car has. You've went back, you've made some adjustments, whether it's getting the travels just right or the adjustments inside of the car just right, and you kind of have an idea as a driver in the car of the RPMs you had yesterday. You're looking at the wind. Now you're looking at those RPMs again today and knowing if those changes were good or not good.
And one thing you will not be seeing today is those drivers putting their hand maybe up against the window net.
Well, you never know.
You might see it
You
if they
can do it, but you can be penalized for that.
But you
now.
won't have your time afterwards. So that's a new rule here in the Super Speedways at qualifying. Noah Gregson got called out on that for Daytona 500
Noah Gregson's
qualifying.
won here in one of these cars, and he got penalized for putting his hand up the other night. Smithley goes on the board at a 50-13.
It's really hard for us to baseline off yesterday because even though these guys might know what they could run all by themselves, the lap times that we have would be just overall fast lap. And at some point, almost everybody was out there in a draft, which obviously is significantly quicker than running by yourself.
You've heard from the guys in the booth. Now let's make a trip down to pit road. Say good morning to Kim Kuhn. Kim, what's happening?
Joined by Jeremy Clements, and yesterday's practice was a little uneventful, but there were some gremlins that popped up for a few drivers, including you. I know you had some issues keeping the car running. Any concern for today's qualifying effort?
No, I think we're all good, but we only get one lap, so hopefully she'll be fine. But really excited for the season. We're partnered with Haas Factory Team, and we're going to have a fast all-South electric one-stop convenience store Chevy today, and we're going to try to win this thing. So I'm excited to be here, starting the season at Daytona. And I think we got the gremlins worked out. Thank goodness we get some practice to do that, or else we would have been in trouble.
Got to think how excited he is. He mentioned the alliance they have with the Haas Factory Team, and he's been able to win here before. Now thinking he's in a better car, he's got to love his odds. I think the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series way more competitive this year than ever with all of these alliances these guys have. Everybody's going to get closer and closer, and it's going to be great for us to watch.
Here's another Alliance car. Blaine Perkins driving for Jordan Anderson. They're a part of the RCR Alliance. Fast yesterday. All three of their Chevys inside the top 10 in practice. And Perkins goes top of the board, 49.70. Got his career best finished in the draft last fall at Talladega Super Speedway, and someone that had a career year in 2025.
We got on the hood, Parker.
We got another Alliance car here. Speaking of Haas Factory Alliance as well for the Siegs, Kyle Sieg. That is a really pretty car. I like it. Feels Miami-esque.
It does. I'm going to tell you what's on the line in qualifying. So we have 42 cars here. 38 will make the field. So 4 cars are not going to qualify to race later today. If you beat 10, you're in, because 32 make it on speed, and really 10 is the magic number. You beat 10, you're in, and if you're in the top 10, you advance to the second round to run for the pole. It is a 2-round qualifying session here today, and that's the format we'll follow anytime we're racing in the draft.
You know what that reminds me of? What? Blink 182. Huh. One of the album covers. The smiley face of the X for the eyes.
I want to play along.
Yeah,
but I don't
know.
You're
not.
Yeah,
you're not picking up what I'm putting down.
I don't want to leave you hanging, but
okay.
I am,
no,
because I
feel
don't
like
know.
you are. Yeah. Wow.
Well, that's not the lap that Sieg was looking for, Adam. Yeah.
50-25 puts him third of the 3 cars that had been out. Dylan Welch is with us this morning. What's up, Dylan?
Hey, Adam, good morning. Catching up with Carson Hocevar, who is in the middle of a triple duty weekend. So ran the truck last night. That was a little eventful. I'm sure you're hoping for less than that today, but did you get a good feel for what this Young's Motorsports car had yesterday?
Yeah, I feel like the Ziegler colors look really good on it, and I feel like we had okay pace of the draft. So we'll see what happens. I had Tyler. He's got a Busch car or a Riley car, or whatever, and So I got Dickerson on the box, up on the spotter stand, so we're both going to have to get ourselves dialed in at the start of this thing. But, yeah, excited to go. Hoping to not burn through every set of tire we have like yesterday, but we had a lot of pace, so if we can have that same pace, I think we're all going to have a lot of fun tonight.
Thanks, Carson.
I'm going to give you a mulligan for Xfinity, but he said Busch. There's been Nationwide, Xfinity.
He wasn't even born when it was
wasn't alive when we had the Busch Series. I mean, how do you mess that up?
He was the show last night, and this is a car right here with Anthony Alfredo I think could be a show here tonight. They've got an alliance of RCR, Viking expanding to 2 cars. Huge opportunity for Anthony Alfredo. Josh Graham on the box. Those two did amazing things 2 years ago.
Alfredo goes to 3rd. Such heartbreak here on Thursday evening.
He raced BJ McLeod there for that spot. BJ congratulates him, and then an hour or so later they found an issue with the car, and he's not going to be in the 500 tomorrow. I'll tell you what, the lap by Blaine Perkins. I know we talked about Jeb Burton, his teammate, being fastest in practice, and he kind of joked around it was a PR lap, but at 49.70 is a great lap when you look at and how much quicker he is than some of these other cars. You talked about Alfredo having that RCR alliance, and man, almost a half second faster than what Anthony was able to run.
Here's LeVar Scott in the 45, running for Rookie of the Year, someone I am really excited about. Put on a show here the last couple of years at Daytona, running in the ARCA Menard Series, and had a chance to win those races. He was runner-up in the championship standings the last 2 years, was Rookie of the Year in 2024. But the energy that he brings, and the dynamic that he will add for Tommy Joe Martin's Alpha Prime and everybody over there with that group is just going to be outstanding for all of us in the series this year.
Such a cool personality. It's like an infectious personality. He walks in a room, you're like, I want to meet that guy. I want to talk to him. He has so much excitement for this opportunity this year here in the O'Reilly Series. And I'm wishing him the best of luck. I think it's going to be really cool to watch his progression.
I thought he did exceptional in the 2 races. There are a few races he did last year as well. Like, you know, not in the best car, but had really good results.
And at tough tracks, Dover and
really
St. Louis. 5th in qualifying for Scott, Kim.
And we talked a lot about all the movement during the offseason. One of those moves, Nick Sanchez to AM Racing. And based on their season last year, what's the outlook for you joining this team in 2026?
I think, you know, obviously the team looks a little different, but it's the same at its core. And our goal is to, you know, make the chase and compete for wins. So I'm obviously really grateful to AM Racing, Ford Racing, and, you know, the new ownership, and looking forward to Daytona.
And Daytona has been good to Nick Sanchez, a winner here in the Truck Series.
Yeah, he won here in trucks, and good in the draft a year ago is a rookie in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, won with Big Machine in Atlanta, his only career win, so we know he is quite capable in the draft. Here's Josh Bilicki in the 07, his teammate Garrett Smithley currently 2nd in qualifying.
He's trying to hold that wheel just as steady as he can. Listen to the RPMs, trying to keep those not bogged down as you get into the corner. You get straight, you see the RPM start to go up on the bottom right hand of your screen there. Only about 100, but you can hear the tone difference inside of the car.
200s quicker than his teammate Garrett Smithley. Puts Bilicki 2nd on the board behind.
Lap time.
They prepared those cars evenly.
Well, they did a nice job.
Very nice job.
92 is Josh Williams. Back with DGM, Mario Goslin full-time in 2026.
He said just earlier this year that it felt like home here at DJM, and you know, for all that he's done there and all the great runs that led to having that chance at Colleague, come back to a place you feel comfortable. It's a nice feeling.
Well, you look at it, the resources at Colleague, no doubt greater than what you would experience at DGM, but it's so much about comfort and the role that you fit into. And he just always knew his place, right? He likes to tinker on the cars and be a part of that process. And that was not necessary when he went to Colleague. And I think he missed that part of it. And so, yeah, like he said, back home, and you would expect some positive things out of this team in 2026.
Well, he's picked a great scheme of colors to have here at Daytona for the spotters. Stand up on the spotter stand, be able to see that car. You get middle of 3 wide.
That's always what you're worried about. You're always worried about the spotters.
Well, I want to make sure they can see me, Parker.
Yeah.
Josh Williams is second. Dylan?
Catching up with the defending series champ, Jesse Love, who's got the champion patch on his suit this year. So, of course, the defending race winner of this race as well. What did that race teach you about maybe what you need from your car here this weekend?
Yeah, no matter the result, there's always, performance feedback that you can go back on and study to be better. So, yeah, we won that race last year. There were still a lot of learning lessons involved with the race. So, yeah, refreshing myself over the good and the bad from last year only helps me this year, and I have the added confidence of defending the race win.
All right, so you were busy this offseason, raced in the Chili Bowl for, I think, the second time in your career. We have this footage of what was, one of the more spectacular moments of the entire week. But what this doesn't show is how fast you were. You were really, really good all week out there, and ultimately, unfortunately, this is how it ended.
Yeah, it was definitely a bummer. Blake Harris and the whole second auto pinning group guys gave me a phenomenal race car, and yeah, I've always been able to get over races pretty quickly, but man, it was something about that, how gut-wrenching it was. At one point I thought we were going to lock into the show from however deep we started, so yeah, I still feel terrible about it, wrecking one of Blake's cars, but man, the car was so fast, and the best I've ever felt inside of that building. So, obviously, got over everything pretty good, and I feel great now. So, looking forward to hopefully going back next year.
Thanks, Jesse.
Well, Jesse, all you got to do is write Blake a check. You don't have to feel bad for it. Like, all you got to do is...
Hey, Jesse, not the only one in our community that was racing.
Pit reporter. He's a driver.
But he just comes off the couch and does this.
Wheelman.
It's unbelievable what he does every year. Goes out there and competes. Great work, Dylan.
There you go. We thought it was awesome.
I haven't seen that footage before. That's cool.
Do you want to thank your sponsors or the guys back at the shop or anything right now, or you feel good?
If I have the opportunity to, I'll thank Club Sport and Florida Safety Systems, who helped, and Bell Helmets, who helped get me there as well. So, yeah.
I was going to say, there was a big sticker on the side you hadn't mentioned yet.
That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Joey Gase made his qualifying run while we were visiting down there with Jesse. He is 8th of 8. And here's the team car. David Starr in the 53.
And one more thing that Jesse Love did in the offseason, he went over to Australia and raced in the Super 2 class in Adelaide, which is basically the O'Reilly series of Australian supercars. Had a great run in the second race in the rain. Absolutely insane. He told me it was one of the hardest things he's possibly ever done, but he learned a lot and it was a really cool experience.
I'm glad you clarified exactly what that was, because it was going to be a very similar response to the Blink 182 album for me, because I wasn't real sure what was going on there.
We're not gelling today.
No, I'm feeling it there.
We're heading different directions.
David Starr goes 5th, 50-19 for the veteran driver out of Houston, Texas. Here's Austin Green in the 87. Dad David won the championship here in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, 1994. It would have been appropriate to call it the Busch Series, right? I mean, that feels way more comfortable in the mid-90s. Uncle Jeff won the title in 2000. Austin not running for Rookie of the Year because he has too many starts under his belt, but running first year full-time and doing it with Peterson Racing, and has been outstanding when he's had opportunities in the past on road courses.
And their starts last year were in conjunction with Jordan Anderson Racing. This year, they're actually one of those cars that has an RCR affiliate. So definitely a team to watch. Super cool to see him have this opportunity. He's going to have to do some learning in the draft here today, though.
Yeah, he told us when we were talking with him a couple of weeks ago, we had all these guys in studio and doing some previews for the season, and he said, I don't really have any drafting experience. What do you think? And we said, with that RCR alliance, I'd probably go out and follow Austin Hill around. He's pretty good at this. Jesse Love as well. Tracking 3/10 off the top spot, and he'll be second behind Blaine Perkins. Not bad at all for Austin Green.
We're getting a clear picture of how good that lap was for Blaine Perkins. Super fast. 6 1,000ths of a second off the pole from 2024. That could hold up.
Talked to Jeremy Clements about what they were fighting yesterday, and he said what we said on the air.
Confidence is going to be high for Jeremy, and best car he's been in a long time, maybe ever, at Daytona.
And I think they're a cool example of what's happened sort of in the midfield of the O'Reilly Series in this offseason. You have so many of these teams who were fringe making the playoffs, now the chase, and they knew, all of them realized you had to up your game going into this season with how many teams were making alliances and making those investments and adding resources. And so for them, you know, they've been there, they've been to victory lane, they've fought for that, trying to make the playoffs, now the chase, and I think this was the next step they needed to take to get that opportunity. And that battle for the chase, I'm telling you, is going to be immense this year.
We changed our tracker to the 10th position, and those drivers that will be able to advance on to the second round. Clements jumps up to second. Good lap for him. 50.016, just over 50 seconds. Only one driver in the 49-second bracket. Blaine Perkins laying it down early. Qualifying underway for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Glad to have you. Wait is finally over. The off-season is gone.
Season starts right here. If we want to make it a great one, we got to start right now.
We are ready to go.
If you win this race, you get to start your season with the most points.
These are the highest paid races of the year, the biggest crowds.
Super Speedway, Daytona is nothing like winning here.
For every driver in the field, this will be the biggest win of their career.
Winning at Daytona is everything.
Every driver wants to be in victory lane at the end of the night.
I wanted to win here so bad. Know how hard it is to win at Daytona?
To get to go to victory lane here at Daytona means more than anywhere else that we go.
It is go time.
Let's go do our job. We're going to win a championship. It starts today. Let's go have a heck of a night.
Off we go from the world's center of racing. Nice buzz in the air here in Daytona Beach. The big one tomorrow, the Great American Race, Daytona 500, sold out. Big setup today. Season opener for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Qualifying underway now. Our coverage of the race for later today on CW, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. 11 cars into the qualifying session. Next up, making his debut, Luke Fenhouse, and a debut for this team as well.
Super cool to see new teams coming in the O'Reilly Series here. We've seen a couple of them in this offseason, new ownership, so many people excited to be a part of this series. You know, I think last year, being on the CW all year built some momentum for the series, and a lot of people want to enter into this series and into NASCAR through it, and I think it's super cool to see in this 5-team joining.
Got a decent lap going. See about 4/10 up. You're going to continue to climb. See exits turn 4 right here. A little bit of a tailwind. You can see the flag on the outside of the track. The drivers will look for that.
The green tracking to the bubble. You need to be 10 to lock yourself into the show.
Wow.
And Finhouse will do it up to second. And the second driver to go south of the 52nd mark.
49.89.
That's tremendous lap.
Yeah, it's
wow.
tremendous.
Yeah,
For
I
a
didn't
young-
expect that.
A young team at Henderson Racing. Do that. First qualifying session.
Feel good.
Feel good.
Yeah.
Put yourself in position for success. Kim?
Well, after years of bad luck here, 2025 was really good for Sam Mayer at Daytona. Top fives in both races last year. How optimistic are you that you can continue that streak?
Yeah, you know, our Speedway program at Haas Factory team was really solid last year. I think all 6 races we were up at the front contending for wins. So I expect nothing less this year. I know everyone at Audubell and everyone a part of this team has really put a lot of effort into making this program even better. So really looking forward to what and seeing this Chevrolet can do out there. But yeah, it's going to be a great year. The vibes are fantastic out here. Getting off the plane a couple days ago and just enjoying the sun has been a lot of fun down here in Daytona. So ready to go fast and see what we can do.
And you heard Sam Mayer highlighting that manufacturer change for Haas Factory this year.
Yeah, and you know, Kim, you referenced the fact that he had 2 top 5s here last year. I think I'm right in saying he had never been in the top 10 at Daytona prior to 2025. So he's on a heater. So is Mason Maggio.
Wow.
Move him up to second in qualifying, locking in to today's race in the 91.
Great lap. Florida boy, home race. That's got to be cool. We talked to him in the off-season, talked about how he and his dad worked so hard, find these partners, put this all together to be out here in the O'Reilly Series.
Yeah,
Nice
when he
lap
referenced that he and his dad are basically the salesman for the team, and and that he came here for a race at a young age, and it made him want to be a driver, and now to be here, a dream come true for him.
Here's Jordan Anderson, the boss man, driving the 32 this weekend. High expectations here. We talk about the speed they had yesterday in practice, and his teammate Blaine Perkins currently leads the way in this qualifying session.
I was thinking Jordan owns these cars, and if I was only going to run a few races a year, great places to pick, but I think I would take the best engine if my name was on the side of the trailer. I think if they're all of them are lined up, I'll be like, I'll take that one.
Yeah, I knew you were selfish.
We'll see how this works out for Jordan here.
Yeah, working with you last year, and now we have confirmation.
Well, we're going to find out how Jordan views that as well. He's got a great lap going right here. I don't think it's gonna be close. We'll see.
And a reminder of this car and the setup. Jordan driving it today. Next couple of weeks, Ross Chastain and Raja Karuth going to drive it 10 times this year. Anderson able to jump to second behind his teammate. 300ths off the pace set by Blaine Perkins.
That's why you're not a team owner.
You know, I'm going to tell you, it is impressive, though, for them to build 2 cars with that much speed, to be that close together. And we talked about Jeb, the other one of those, being the fastest in practice yesterday. I expect him to be right there in that same category. I don't think these are the highlights you want, Parker.
Well, I mentioned him being the show, and it was for multiple reasons. He led at the front for a while. Then he had one tire go down, a second tire go down. He had his engine cut out at one point. And then this was one of the spins.
Yeah, that's the
this
third.
Was when he was 3 laps down.
That's the third spin. I could tell that Harvick and Joey were kind of questioning the thought process of why he was up there 3 laps down.
Why you're 3 wide in the middle, 3 laps down. Not sure I understand that one, but
it was Friday the 13th.
Yes. That race was incredible. It was one of the best truck series speedway races I've ever seen.
It was.
Congratulations, Chandler Smith.
Yes.
Who got the big win in dramatic fashion.
And part of what makes coming here so exciting, and the trucks suck up better than any other type of vehicle that races here, is Chandler Smith was going to run 6th off turn 4.
Yeah.
And the way the circumstances worked out, he was able to get to the lead. I think Carson, though, I know we kind of joked around with him a little bit there. I think he'll be a factor today. He's a tremendous race car driver. These are the places that some of these smaller teams will be able to capitalize on, and it looks like he's got
I think he has a tire going down.
What is it with him?
Couldn't quite tell there. It was like something coming from underneath the race car.
We'll continue to follow that situation as we send it to Dylan.
And catching up with Dean Thompson, who was second yesterday in practice for Sam Hunt Racing. So you said you got to do a little bit of drafting practice. What did you learn about your race car?
Yeah, it's really fast. I mean, our top 5 group, Toyota GR Supra, finished second in practice, so Mock run was really strong, and we set our fastest lap leading the lane. So we were behind somebody, and he peeled off. And that's when we set our fastest lap. So really happy with that. Our guys put together a super fast car, and now just holding it wide open. So I'm not really doing anything as a driver. It's more a testament to them, for practice and qualifying. So hopefully we replicate that again today.
Thanks, Dean. He was good here last year, too. Top 8 finishes in both Daytona races a year ago.
He was impressive. Outstanding rookie campaign for Dean Thompson. Driving for Sam Hunt. Teammate this year with Harrison Burton. He said it's going to be great to have Harrison, not just because he's a veteran driver, but even though he's a veteran, they're very close in age, so they can relate to one another. New team this year from Parker Retzlaff, driving for Viking. He takes it to 6th in qualifying.
I can't wait to see what Parker is able to do this year. I know, a few years ago with Jordan Anderson Racing, really impressive, made that switch last year. And you could tell as we spoke with him, he was highly disappointed in the performance that he had last season. But he's got a fresh start here, and this is another one of those organizations that I think is heading in the right direction. I look forward to seeing what Viking and Parker can do this year.
I'm excited about the fact that Danny Eflin, who was so instrumental in leading Harrison Burton and AN Racing last year into the postseason, has moved over to Viking to call the shots for Parker. And I think it's not just being his crew chief, but what he brings overall from a leadership standpoint to that organization that could really move them forward. Next car out in qualifying, the modified sensation Patrick Emmerling, the 17th car to take time this morning.
Yeah, Patrick's been down here all week. I've been watching him run over at New Smyrna, doing a lot of racing. It's fun for a lot of these guys. We saw, hosts of ours been down here. Ryan Priest. There's been a lot of the guys that are racing here at the Speedway that have been over at New Smyrna all week, getting their racing fill as get the warm weather down here.
This is a third car from the RSS stables. Kyle Sieg has already been out. He went 14th, and this is going to be better than that. Emmerling goes to 3rd.
Great lap.
Had a great run here a year ago.
Good job. P3, 49.80.
Hey, they're hyped. Also, I got to clear something up. Turns out this is going to be a shocker. I'm crazy. Hosvar did not have an issue.
I was more looking for Parker to say, turns out I'm wrong. I thought that's what I was.
No, I couldn't go that far. I just said I'm insane, basically. I was seeing things.
Here's Harrison Burton. New team, driving for Sam Hunt. Talked about the fact he'll team up with Dean Thompson. Dylan referenced, and we talked about the success that Dean had here last year. If you go back to this race a season ago, Ryan Truex drove the 24 for Sam Hunt, spent a lot of time at the front, and I hope this organization can find our way to victory lane in 2026. Harrison knows how to do it here at Daytona. Had that dramatic win in the Cup Series August of 24.
I was getting ready to mention that, Adam. The fact that he's won here before and in the Cup Series. Once you've won at a track, every single time you go to it, you think it could be the next time you're going to win there. So a lot of confidence from Harrison heading over here.
And I think this is a cool opportunity for him with Sam Hunt. Sam and I were talking yesterday about just the vibe with Harrison and how Harrison's so grateful to have the opportunity, gels so well in their organization. It's definitely a very young organization. There's growing organization in a lot of respects, and he just fit in so well. He said in the offseason they're really excited about this year.
Harrison, the first Toyota to qualify today. He is 7th, Kim.
Yeah, Adam, and we wrapped up practice yesterday. It was his cousin, Jeb Burton, at the top of the board. So what is the expectation here in qualifying?
Looking at my two teammates, I'm hoping we can go run what they did or better. It was cool to get that PR lap yesterday and get some attention for our race team and Golden Corral. A lot of energy around our team this year. We got 3 full-time cars. We got a new partnership with Richard Childress Racing, working closer with them, and just hopefully we can make it into the next round. That's kind of the goal here, and get ourselves a good track position to start the race and go after it.
You mentioned his teammates, Blaine Perkins and Jordan Anderson, top of the board, but we got Jeb's dad, Ward Burton, here, the 2002 Daytona 500 winner. So you have any pointers for your son?
I'm just amazed at how good Kim does at this job. She is awesome.
I did not pay him to say that. Always good to catch up with Ward when he's on the grid down here. Such a fun family, and we will expect some fun out of Jeb on the track later today.
I thought it was just going to Joe. That's great. Nick Sanchez driving for AM Racing, 25, and he goes to 9th. Puts Jeremy Clements on the bubble when you talk about those top 10 positions advancing to the second round of qualifying.
You're talking about Sanchez. You're talking about a world being flipped upside down over the past 3 or 4 months. Everything that's happened with him. But I hear rumors. I think there's some good stuff in his future.
I think there's some good things that all, there's new ownership there at AM Racing. Talked to him earlier today. Super excited about that. Just knows there's a big opportunity. That team, continued working through the offseason and putting things together and in place, even though there was a couple changes that didn't happen and then stayed AM Racing. But I think it's a big opportunity for Nick.
And he's an incredibly talented race car driver. You look at the ARCA championship that he won, came over to trucks, and he did part-time in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series a little bit there after he won the ARCA title. Was very impressive. Has won races, won here in this series a season ago, and a whole lot to offer for that young driver out of Miami as Natalie Decker makes her way back toward the start-finish line.
Yeah, Natalie's going to have a decent lap here, and I think about everything that goes with being a race car driver and all the stress, and I follow Natalie on social media. Had a baby within the last year. I can't imagine trying to deal with all those as she goes and tries to sell sponsorship, and then on top of that, racing. She does a really nice job putting that all together.
16th is where she fits in qualifying. You referenced the fact that she's a mom. What a difference a year makes. February 5th, 2025, she gives birth to son Levi. And then fast forward, here we are a year later, and her thought process this February in Speed Weeks is much different, but great to see her in the series driving for Joey Gase. Cesar Baccarella coming out in the 4. Third entry for Alpha Prime this weekend. See him show up a lot in the draft, and very entertaining. And coming off his career best last fall, finished 5th at Talladega Superspeedway. As he gets up to speed, we send it back to Dylan.
Brandon Poole is awaiting his turn to qualify here for Alpha Prime Racing. These are always places where it seems like we see you near the front throughout the day. Finished 9th here last summer. How do you feel about your chances tonight?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I think we made our race car a little bit faster than it was here last summer, so we'll see. I've got this Roma Chevrolet behind me. I've been throwing crushed red pepper packets on it all last week, trying to make this thing spicy for tonight. So, we'll see what we can do. But, I just got a great race team and my same guys from last year. So we'll see what we can do. But I love this place. It's so awesome to start our year here, and looking forward to tonight.
All right, he's covering the gamut of flavors. Had the sour candy car last year. Now he's got the red pepper car today.
Dylan, is there any chance we can get him to do a little Italian impersonation down there on pit road? I saw he did something earlier. It was pretty good.
I'll have to double back and ask him on that.
Maybe you could play along.
I will not be participating.
Oh, no,
I thought he did a nice job.
I was suggesting Dylan. But
okay.
I mean, there we are. Do you guys do the crushed red pepper if you're having pizza or Italian? Do you put the crushed red pepper?
I know you do.
Oh, absolutely.
You love spicy. I know you do.
Sometimes a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to go overboard.
I had to have Tommy John surgery because of how much I shake the crushed red pepper on there. You know what I mean?
Nice little lap going for Cesar here. I'm going to tell you everything about that picture in that car screams Miami to me.
It does.
Yeah.
He's a Florida guy from Parkland. 8th.
8th overall. Good lap.
Look at our bumper. Top 11 are locked in on speed. You just have to beat 10. And here comes our reigning champ. A qualifying sensation when it comes to the draft. And last year he was good on race days. Teammate Austin Hill, stage 1, stage 2, had some mechanical problems. Love able to take advantage in that final stage. Began 2025 with a victory. Ended the campaign the same way at Phoenix, netting him a championship.
Well, there's no doubt everyone on pit road or in the garage right now is going to watch what this car can do. It's historically the fastest car anytime we come to Daytona or Talladega in qualifying, and you can see right there on the bottom of your screen already 2 tenths up as he heads down the middle of the backstretch. It's going to be a way faster lap than we had last time we qualified here.
This will set the benchmark most likely for everyone to know what they're shooting for.
It's going to be really deflating for Blaine Perkins and Jordan Anderson because we thought they were in just this tremendous position, but look at the lap he's got going.
We'll see how close that alliance gets you.
Right.
I mean, we are tracking to the bubble, but Sanchez in 10th, is, 2/10 off, right, of what Perkins ran. Look at that. I mean, just incredible, the leap. Almost 0.3 of a second faster than Perkins is Jesse Love.
I think something to keep in mind is RCR had felt like JRM, Toyota, some of these guys had caught up, and they mentioned, look, we went back and worked on this program trying to get more speed in the cars, and they have done a great job of finding that speed.
Jesse Love picking up where he left off. It is Valentine's Day. It seems appropriate.
These guys all have a set RPM for each gear that they will shift in, and we heard a driver reference a little earlier, they don't do anything, but there is a little bit that the drivers can do inside of the car. I always felt like it was more about not screwing it up than it was making up a significant amount of difference in what my car had. Once you get to fourth gear, it's just all about holding the wheel as straight as you can, and it's a little bit different now because you only run one lap. At one time we would run 2 laps down here, and you had a little more time to get your car wound up, but the fact that you only get one now,
that was back in the Busch Series.
It was the Busch Series then, yes.
We haven't been doing that for a while.
It's been a while.
The other thing off of pit road there, your distance, sort of going to the right and trying to just get the max amount of distance on this warm-up lap that you have. You'll wait as long as possible to come down through the travel there.
That visor, you can see his eyes.
Jones, the second Toyota to go out in qualifying, and the first from Joe Gibbs Racing. Harrison Burton for Sam Hunt, currently on the board in 8th. And Jones tracking inside the top 10.
Yeah, this is still going to be a really good lap for Brandon. And unfortunately, Jesse set the bar really high, but boy, just looking at where he is right here, this is still going to be, he might end up being P2 after this lap is over. See, that tracker just continues to gain, just slowly all the way around the track.
Third. Not bad on your prediction, McMurray.
Well, I can do simple math.
You were one off.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Here's Kim.
Well, Ryan Sieg and his team, part of that Haas Factory Alliance, which means they also did the switch from Ford to Chevrolet. And now as we think about Daytona, what does that mean for the team here today?
No, I think we got a bunch more Chevrolets to work with, so that's a positive. And then even with our Haas factory team, we all close-knit bunch trying to work together for the common goal to get our Haas Factory Alliance and Haas Factory teams a win. So we're excited to be back with Chevrolet. I was with them for a long time, so I'm excited to see what we got here in qualifying, and hopefully we're starting towards the front.
Ryan's got 9 top 10s here at Daytona.
Solid in the draft.
I think he still wanted to say something.
See. Yeah. Dylan got to thank his sponsors. Here's Carson Kvapil in the 1.
Yeah, our first look at junior motorsports and the speed that these cars are going to have. They had tremendous speed here last July. Even Parker was able to take that thing to victory lane.
Yeah, literally anyone could have.
He had to come from behind, too, after the driver change. Kvapil to second. It was a 1-2-3 finish for JRM here in the summertime.
Well, tough audience up here. You can't get any credit.
Great. He doesn't have a flat either, Parker. Great lap right there by Carson.
Well, I explained what happened.
Here's Raja Karuth. 23 races in the 88 for junior motorsports. The other 10 for Jordan Anderson in the 32. Really excited about this young driver from Washington, D.C. Got his college degree at Winston-Salem State University. He was balancing that while he was racing full-time in the Truck Series, where he's won twice, a victory apiece in the last 2 years, and just full of energy and fun, a note-taker, a student of the game, and someone that I think we're really going to benefit watching him grow over the course of the season.
I think it's safe to say we were all three really impressed when we sat down and talked to him. And you mentioned the notes, but just his whole approach to this opportunity that he's been given. I think everybody would be pulling the rope his direction. He's a good kid.
Great guy, hard worker, incredibly hard worker. Wants this so badly. Has a great team there. Marty Lindley. We know how successful his team was last year. And you know what that chassis is, Jamie?
Is that the car you won in?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
Well, I'm feeling good about his chances.
Yeah, anyone can get it done there.
That's right.
Still got speed. Up to second for Raja.
Good job. 10-4.
25 of 42 cars have been out in this opening round of qualifying. If you beat 10, you're locked into the show, because 32 lock in on speed, and the top 10 will advance to run for the pole. Next up from the Haas factory team, the first from that camp. Had a few Alliance cars out, but this is the first official from HFT, Sam Mayer in the 41.
I think Sam has a lot of pressure he's been putting on himself this season. You know, he's been looking for that sort of breakout, dominant season. He's obviously won a lot of races. He's been here for a while in the O'Reilly Series. He's talked openly about wanting more attention from the Cup Series garage, and to do that, you want to have one of those dominant seasons. And I feel like every time I talk to him, he says, you know, this is the next step I'm taking to get towards that. And I think he's wholly capable of it. We see it often with the speed he has. It's just hasn't all come together.
I'll tell you what else he has. He's got a heck of a lap going right here.
Yes.
He might be in contention to challenge Jesse Love right here for a front row starting spot. Really good speed from this 41 team.
He does go to second. 8/100ths off of the time put down by Jesse Love, and someone you gotta believe that's really going to have an opportunity to advance to the second round with that lap. Dylan?
Austin Hill is going to see what he can do here in qualifying in just a little bit. Have you got anything for your teammates' lap?
I don't know. We only ran 4 laps yesterday, all single car stuff, and you know, we felt good about our Bennett Chevrolet. It's always hard to tell during practice really where you stack up, but car drove good, did everything I wanted to do in practice, so that's all I really ask for when I come to these places. I think that 41 that Jesse ran is a pretty good lap, so hopefully we're somewhere around that, whether we're ahead of him or behind him. All I really care about is us two starting on the front row and then going to work from there. So excited to be at Daytona, excited to be back racing, and Daytona's been good to me in the past, so hopefully we can get another one.
Yeah, that's an understatement. The victory tonight, no doubt, going to go through RCR in this 21 car later.
A little bit of talk in the garage that maybe the Toyotas are going to be better this weekend. It seems like they've been a little bit off at the Speedway events. These guys all talked about like they had more speed yesterday. We'll see where Taylor ends up. Right, that's a great lap, fourth at 49.59. That's That's going to be good for us to watch. We get some more guys in the mix, make the racing even better.
What was funny about the Toyotas is the summer of 2024 we came down here and they had suddenly made massive gains in the speed category. Ryan Trix ended up winning that race that weekend, and then it seemed like last year didn't quite bring that same speed, but it's an evolution. You're always evolving, working, especially these engine manufacturers who are constantly pushing the envelope in this series, and that's really where the biggest gains come from for these manufacturers is in the engine department, and Toyota had to go to work.
One thing I'd like to watch in that regard tonight, though, is the strength in numbers. And because Chevy had such a decided advantage with the number of vehicles they put in this race, a lot of times the Toyotas would work with the Fords in the draft.
Yeah.
Well, the Ford camp has lost a number of teams to the Chevy side. So where does Toyota go? And I know late in the race you kind of go with whoever's out there and all of that, but that will be something to maybe monitor as we go throughout the race tonight.
And in the Cup Series, the guys are so much more disciplined to commit to those manufacturers. I feel like when you get to O'Reilly Auto Parts Series or the Truck Series, they don't seem to listen as well.
How about 7 organizations inside the top 10 right now? Sam Mayer carrying the banner for Haas Factory Team. Make it 6 organizations inside the top 10. His teammate Sheldon Creed goes right up behind him. 15 thousandths of a second off of the team car. Creed is 3rd overall, Kim.
And Gio Ruggiero making his O'Reilly Auto Parts Series debut here this weekend, but obviously no stranger to drafting on the truck side of things. Success at Talladega last night, so close, finishing 2nd. But as we think about this weekend, what did you learn yesterday in practice about these cars here?
Yeah, I learned a lot. I think the runs aren't going to be as big as it was in the truck race, but I think we got a good piece. So just got to be there at the end. These races can get hectic. So last night I was there at the end and tried to capitalize on it, so I need to do the same thing today.
I can assure him the runs will not be as big.
Not even close. That's right, yeah. He got so lucky at the end of that race when he got forced below the yellow line. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a huge wreck. And he was able to gather it up, get back in line, and have a chance to win at the end.
Well, and he didn't settle. He could have settled there behind John Hunter, but he made it clear he didn't appreciate that move from John Hunter. And so he actually made a move there off of 4 that I really thought was going to work. It was an awesome move and put himself in position to try and win it.
Daniel Dye driving the 52. This is an AM Racing entry. No Fords in the top 10 right now, and it'll stay that way for the time being. 21st is where Dye ends up on his lap. You guys talking about last night's race in the Craftsman Truck Series. Just a wild night. What a finish.
What about John Hunter? When he went to bed, he went to bed last night so frustrated he didn't block the bottom.
So I texted him. I'm like, man, what happened there? And he's like,
There's just so much going on at that moment.
He chased the 17 up there, which you felt like the correct thing to do, but he just said, I had no idea.
I don't think he would have won anyway. Well, I think the outside would have won maybe.
That push would have been pretty big if he could have held on to it. But I think he just had no idea Chandler was coming. He actually told me it was one of the first times he and his spotter had been in that position since they've been working together. And he said it was actually helpful because they could break this down for Sunday to say, hey, if we're in that position again, I need to know what's happening behind me because I'm focused on this thing to the right.
The trucks, though, like and Gio referenced it there, the runs are so big. You just don't expect that. You're not, especially, he's been running Cup for the last 2 years. You just aren't used to having runs come from that far back.
Those last 2 laps were awesome. Some of the wildest 2 laps I've ever seen.
13 cars to go in the opening round of qualifying here at Daytona for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. And the first of those, Dean Thompson. Teammate Harrison Burton on the board in 14th, and Thompson jumps up above him, put him in the 10th position. He's on the bubble when you talk about drivers that have a chance to advance. Dylan?
Sammy Smith's going to be the last guy to go out here in this first round. New crew chief for you this year, Corey Shea, is going to be the full-time guy for you. How was yesterday getting acclimated with everything on that side?
Yeah, I thought yesterday went really well. We were able to make a couple of single-car runs, accidentally drafted with 1 or 2 cars, but overall I feel really good about our number 8. Pilot Chevrolet, everyone from JRM does a great job. HMS Engine Shop has done a really good job over the off-season, it looks like, so I'm really excited. I got to feel a little bit of that yesterday, and it's showing right now. So we appreciate those guys, and yeah, we'll get qualifying going, and excited to be here this weekend.
He's another good drafter, a winner at Talladega a couple years ago and 2nd here last summer.
Yeah, and Dylan, you referenced Corey Shea, and I was talking to Corey in the garage this morning, and it was interesting because he's getting acclimated to being a crew chief here full-time for the first time. And he said it's totally different because we have a new championship format. And beyond that, I was always working with these part-time drivers at road courses, and they're not running for points, and so your thought process in calling races was totally different. So a big adjustment for Corey this year on the pit box.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're a driver or a crew member or a crew chief. When you go from part-time to full-time, it's a completely different thought process. We look at Jeb Burton. He's going to be a little bit behind his teammates here.
I'm surprised.
But you know what? If that holds in the top 20-ish, top 22.
Parker has a theory.
I'm telling you.
Parker has a theory that is it 13th to 20th?
13th to 22nd.
I'm going to go with RCR, wherever they qualify. I don't care.
Jeb Burton, quick yesterday in practice, third quickest of the cars from Jordan Anderson Racing. 14th is where he is. Blaine Perkins 7th right now, and Jordan Anderson is 9th.
Ooh. If that was a missed shift or just ran it well into the rev limiter right there, but that kills your momentum.
Yeah.
As you leave pit road, you want to run that to the right RPM shift to keep your momentum going forward. I almost think he just missed a shift altogether right there.
That was aggressive sounding.
This is Carson Ware driving for a new team, Barrett Cope Racing. Cope Family Racing did a really good job last year, joining forces with Stanton Barrett.
Oh, I think he over-revved that leaving the pits.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe hurt the engine. See what we get any radio communication of what happened there, but man, it was on the rev limiter.
What'd you say there? Freaking blew up, man.
Yeah, I think he missed that shift from first to second and just over-revved it. Oh, that's so disappointing.
When you think about a new team, and I know a lot of these teams have gone out and bought points, and that's always a little bit of a game that's played in the off season, but this team could be in trouble when it comes to making the show.
Yeah, so let's take a listen. So you're in first gear. That's normal. Sometimes it bogs. That was the shift to second. You heard it hit the rev limiter.
It honestly didn't sound as bad in that replay as it did when we listened to it live, but
it's literally your biggest fear to have a missed shift, but I don't know if that was quite that.
We'll follow up on where he fits into the equation on making the race when we come back to Daytona. the spring last year and putting together some top fives, including at Martinsville when we had that wild night there and the crazy ending. But he's been top 20 in points with this organization 2 years in a row. And it's something to be celebrated for them because of how hard they work and where they fit into the equation as far as funding is concerned.
And he did that last year in like the last couple laps of the Phoenix race, and you would have thought they won the championship when he got that done. It was huge for Alpha Prime to get into the top 20 in the season standings.
Not going to advance to round 2 of qualifying, but he does jump up to 18th on the board. Jordan Anderson.
On the bubble.
Yeah, sitting on the bubble with 8 to go and some pretty good cars still to come. First of those, Corey Day.
Another one of those guys from Media Day that we were super impressed with. And the first thing that comes to my mind as I see this car on the track is that you're going to have 2 cars with the exact same sponsor. HendrickCars.com is on both Raj's car and this car. And if they're running close together, I've done that before. Bass Pro Shops had Tony Stewart, me, and Ryan Newman in the same race a couple of times at Speedways, and it gets a little bit confusing for the spotters up there, so we'll have to pay attention to that.
I think this is such a huge year for Corey Day. Probably one of the most pressure-packed situations for a young, inexperienced driver. Just knowing Hendrick Motorsports is the nameplate there, all the support he has from Jeff Gordon, Kyle Larson. He didn't seem fazed by it when we talked to him earlier.
He didn't at all. It just seemed very normal to him, yeah.
And he seemed like he knew the opportunity, he was grateful for it, but that it was a massive opportunity. He wanted to take hold of it, and he did a great job last year.
He didn't think this opportunity was going to come.
Yeah.
So he's kind of taken an underdog approach, and it's worked out quite well. Got better and better. Limited action in 2025 and a great qualifying effort here. He puts that 17 car 5th on the board. And this will be the first time Hendrick Motorsports has run full-time in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series since 2006. It's been a while. William Sawalich in the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Fastest Toyota right now in qualifying. Taylor Gray is 6th. Brandon Jones, his teammate, on the bubble in 10th.
Yeah, William pretty confident. Felt like they ran well at these type tracks last year. Said they only ran 1 lap in practice. Made sure everything worked. Parked it for the night and felt good about it today. And looking at the tracker on the bottom right of your screen, got a nice little lap going right here. Probably going to be tracking even in front of his teammate. He's continuing to build a little bit of a barrier on that 10th place position.
Joe Gibbs has brought some speed this weekend.
This is going to be top 2 or 3 lap time, I think, right here.
His teammates like,
no,
we might be getting ready for the race now, bud. Because he's 10th and getting ready to fall below the cut line when it comes to advancing. Lots of green.
Wow.
It's top of the board, 49.40. How do you do?
Wow,
where did that come from?
That's incredible for Toyota.
Yeah.
To be where we felt like they were last year behind and have a car quicker than RCR right now.
Williams like, let's just do 1 round of qualifying.
Yeah,
I don't want to have to duplicate that. 0.003 of a second in front of Jesse Love. Here comes the 39er, Ryan Sieg. First of 6 cars remaining. In the opening round of qualifying, Blaine Perkins is on the bubble.
Always a threat, these races. You feel like that first win is somewhere out there almost any weekend. It could be a possibility that Ryan Sieg gets that first win in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. He's been so close. He's always at the front of these speedways towards the end. He mentioned having the ability to work with Chevys now. Going to have a lot more partners with HFT Alliance.
I would say, the change in manufacturer is fine. He just needed to change the calendar from 25 to 26 because they just had so much bad luck last year. Great lap going here. Got a little money in the bank as he comes back to the line, puts him 8th.
All right, I'll see you guys in camp.
What's for lunch?
Blaine Perkins said it's time to move on with life. He falls to 11th, and that puts Justin Allgaier on the bubble. 5 to go, and this guy will be fast. Austin Hill in the 21.
Yeah, these guys seem to think that maybe the 2 was going to qualify a little bit better just based on what those crew chiefs do, put drivability in the car versus maybe handling
it was a change in direction for the 21 team about a year ago when Chad Haney came over. Austin talked about this, where they started to not focus as much on outright qualifying pace as much as trying to make that car work better in the draft, suck up a little bit better, not being able to break through that bubble that we talk about between you and the car ahead of you. And the results in the races have sort of added up to that being a good decision.
Yeah, and talking to them, I think they've put a big focus back on these races with the new chase format that we're going to have, and they want to come here and they want to capitalize, win as many of these races as they can, build up those points.
Not just win races, win stages. Yep. And he's won 16 stages in the draft configuration. So the huge opportunity that exists for this team.
It's going to be close.
Is right there. Oh. And he's third.
Oh, that's going to be good the next round, though, because those guys are all so tight.
All right. Season opener. Been really good to Austin Hill. Crazy crash in 2022. He's out front. Gets the win. 2023, he said, I'd like to double down. This one got wild as well. In 2024, things got strung out. A crash, and it opened the door for Hill to come back and claim the checkers once again.
It's always amazing to me when you look at the finishes here. We saw three in a row of this race for him, but you're within 3 feet of losing all of them, right? Yep. But he has found himself on the right end of all of those and been able to capitalize on it and has the trophies at home to show for it.
Here's Ryan Ellis on the move in 2026, going over to drive for Young's Motorsports in the 02.
I've got a way to get 4 more bands in here if you'd like.
Well, you just let it rip over there. Just whatever makes you feel good.
Let me tell you this. Welcome to Rockville Festival. We'll be here at Daytona in May. The headliners, Jamie, Guns N' Roses, Foo Fighters, Bring Me the Horizon, and my personal favorite, My Chemical Romance.
I'd say I'd sign up for that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
It's good. I'll probably be busy, but I'd sign up for that.
Ryan Ellis, 29th. 3 cars to go in qualifying.
This is going to be a good story, Adam, all year long.
Yeah, Patrick Starpoli, just so much that he brings to the table. When you talk about his story, running for Rookie of the Year at age 36, not sure he believed this opportunity would ever come. He found the right situation, goes over to Big Machine, an eye doctor who's taken a sabbatical, moved from Houston, North Carolina to be around his race team, and here he is with a group that has won in the draft recently. Got it done last summer at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Echo Park Speedway down in Atlanta, with Nick Sanchez behind the wheel. And he's got a good lap going.
I know he might be able to lock himself into this next round with this lap.
You could say he's someone to keep an eye on.
You're really funny. Carson Kvapil is on the bubble, anxiously watching Starpoli come back to the line. And Starpoli will run for the pole. He jumps to 7.
Good job. We got a little work to do there. What you want?
Excitement from Patrick Donahue right there.
Super Speedway he was pumped. Yesterday he told me, he said, this might be the best car that came out of Welcome.
2 to go in the opening round. On the bubble is Ryan Sieg. And we talk about how fast those Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas have been. William Sawalich currently at the top. Here's Gio Ruggiero. Really good when it comes to racing in the draft.
Well, and his teammate, William Sawalich, is first right now. We'll see how close these cars are going to be. Other teammate Taylor Gray's 9th. Got to think he's going to be somewhere in between those two.
So the plan is for Gio to run here and next week at Atlanta, but all of this is just biding time until Brent Cruz is able to get behind the wheel. New rule in NASCAR this year. At age 17, you qualify to run in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series at road courses at any track 1.25 miles or shorter. So we'll see Cruz at both COTA and Phoenix. He'll take a couple of more weeks off, turns 18, and then we'll see him full-time on the balance of the year. He'll run for the championship and Rookie of the Year.
Well, that's not what Gio wanted right there. You see he's going to be 15th at a 49.73, but Parker, my crew chief, would always come on the radio after something like that and be like, it'll race good.
Oh, yeah. He buys into my theory. You don't want to be the fastest
there
here.
You go.
1 to go in the opening round of qualifying. Ryan Sieg sets on the bubble. And here is Sammy Smith in the 8. Dylan talked about his stat line. Has a win under his belt in the draft at Talladega a couple of years ago and was second right here at Daytona last August.
He does a great job in these drafting track races. Just when he gets to the front, he controls the pack really well. He doesn't make maybe very aggressive moves, but he puts himself in the right position throughout the race, and I think of him as someone that also is a good pusher. He's the guy you want behind you. Maybe he's lurking there in second or third or fourth.
He doesn't make you nervous.
He doesn't make you nervous. He pushes you really well, consistently, and that sets him up to be in a great position to strike when the opportunity is there late in the race.
It's looking like there might be only one car from Junior Motorsports that advances to the second round of qualifying. Quapple and Allgaier on the outside. Raja is locked in. And here is Sammy Smith in the red as he comes through the tri-oval back to the start-finish line. He will start 12th later today, right around his teammates. And that means Ryan Sieg will advance to run for the pole. 7 organizations inside the top 10. These are the drivers that move on to run for the pole. Great lap for William Sawalich, who led the way in round 1. The teammates from RCR, the teammates from the Haas factory team. Raja Caruth up there. Great effort for Big Machine and Patrick Staropoli. Corey Day for Hendrick Motorsports. Taylor Gray and Ryan Sieg also in line to run for the pole position here at Daytona. Well, what do you do to get ready for the Daytona 500?
Yeah, go out, drop a
fishing.
Put a line in the water.
Yeah.
round of qualifying. As you look at round 2, how much can you improve on your lap?
Yeah. Car like we did it in practice yesterday, but first experience like launching a speedway engine for an O'Reilly car, to go and qualify. So I learned a lot from that first try and kind of know some things I can do better, for the second time. But our HendrickCars.com Chevy is super, super fast, and I'm really excited to be here in Daytona today. It's always great to come down here to start the season, and great to celebrate their 50th anniversary, but also for me to have my first full-time season amidst 2 teams, but ready to have a lot of fun in some Chevys this year, and hopefully we qualify somewhere better than 10th.
What is your comfort level in these cars in the draft?
I feel pretty comfortable, honestly. I was able to race here last fall with Jordan Anderson Racing, and kind of just no pressure, go and run in the pack and learn how these things move in the air compared to the truck racing. And I definitely learned a lot and some similarities from the truck speedway racing to these cars. So definitely feel comfortable and confident and excited to see how we perform tonight.
And we're excited to see what Raja's able to do full-time here in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series this season, Dylan.
Sheldon Creed is on to the next round of qualifying as well. Okay, you got a practice session, 1 round of qualifying here to learn what this Chevy has got new for this year. How do you feel about it, and what do you think you've got here for the second round?
Yeah, I feel extremely good. The Hendrick engine shop has been great for the Haas factory team over the offseason, been a lot of help. So, yeah, to come out and have 2 cars in the top 5 and the 39 in the top 10 is great. And just appreciate everyone at Haas factory team working really hard this offseason with our manufacturer change. And yeah, appreciate our partners, Ollie's, buy your good stuff cheap, Road Ranger, Pit Boss, everyone that supports us. Really excited to get the year going, and yeah, see what we do here in round 2.
Ollie's on this car for about 15 races or so this year. Definitely can't miss it here at Daytona. It is a beautiful weekend here at the World Center of Racing. Weather has been perfect, plenty of activity all over this area, and we'll run for the pole here with the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series next.
Great day ahead here at Daytona. ARCA coming up. Got a little cup practice. 4 o'clock Eastern time, the let me start that over. O'Reilly Auto Parts Series opens up 2026 on CW. Tomorrow, the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. It's on Fox. Ready for the second round of qualifying here. Got to get those engines cooled down and ready to roll. Who grabs the pole here at the World Center of Racing? William Sawalich trying to back up the fast lap. Go get me some ice. Cars on track when we return. final round. .04 Eastern time, that's when our pre-race coverage begins for the season opener. 10 cars advanced. They go slowest to fastest based on how they netted out in round one. First car on track to go for the pole, 39, Ryan Sieg.
And you heard Raja talk about what he could maybe do better on his get up to speed there. That's every one of these drivers knows sort of what they did, what they could maybe do better on that run through the gears, using more track on the exit of pit lane. Just tiny little things that make big differences here in the second round.
There's going to be so much ebb and flow in this race tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And inevitably, at some point, no matter how fast your car is, you're going to find yourself, kicked out of the draft, or maybe a little strategy that puts you behind the 8 ball. But the bottom line is, if you're up here in the top 10, you can qualify in the front 5 rows. Starting out in front of it, I'm sure has got to infuse some confidence in these race teams. Advancing is a big deal.
It makes you feel really good when you roll up to start the race and there's just not a lot of cars in front of you. And you're like, I can see the front. This is a perfect place to be. And what's really disheartening is you get about 3 laps in and suddenly you're back in 25th. And you're like, well, I never even moved up the lane I was in.
Yeah, and you've spent all winter trying to make the car as fast as you can, and you want to see the benefit of that.
8 Chevys advanced, 2 Toyotas.
Yeah, Parker's right, though. I mean, having a fast car is key, right? I mean, you want to be on the front row, but you see a lot of times the guy 10th, 12th. Like, it's all about drivability. You heard guys talk about handling. You got to handle, you got to have fast, you got to balance those 2 out.
To me, when you see a car that can break the bubble, when it can get to the rear bumper of the cars in front of it, keep an eye on that car, because I'm telling you, they will become the most prolific passer, able to make moves. They kind of control their destiny when they have that opportunity, and often it's not the car that's the fastest in qualifying. If you can't have the fastest car by a long shot like we've seen from the RCR cars in the past, you want that car that can just seemingly push, break that bubble, and allow you to make moves and create momentum that others can't if they can't break that bubble.
And a lot of times, like when we talk about breaking the bubble, it's because of handling. Like if you don't have to let up and you get that little bit of momentum and the guy in front of you does, that allows you to get to their bumper, and it does. It's a game changer from inside the car.
First lap has been laid down. Ryan Sieg goes at 49.60. Here's Taylor Gray, one of those 2 Toyotas to advance to the second round of qualifying from Joe Gibbs Racing. Had a really good rookie season, did Taylor. And I love the fact that he was partnered with a veteran crew chief and Jason Ratcliffe, and they were able to win at Martinsville late in the year. First career victory for him. First time Jason got a grandfather clock, so it was neat for Taylor to be able to deliver that combo back together for year 2, and off to a good start here at Daytona in the green in qualifying. Put him P1, 49.55.
Kind of as expected, we think each of these lap times will continue to get quicker, but I think there will be an advantage for guys that went out late, maybe can go out early now, just with the transmission being warmer, the rear end grease being warmer. It does make a small difference, not as much as it did in the past, but it definitely helps a little bit.
Here's Corey Day in the 17. We were talking about him earlier in his story and his path to getting this opportunity to drive full-time in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series for Hendrick Motorsports. And he said when the idea that the dirt racer, got a little bit of a glimpse of what his future was like when Jeff Gordon reached out and said, what do you think about doing some stock car stuff? And he and his family were like, is this real? I mean, they almost thought it was a prank that the call came in from Jeff Gordon, but a real opportunity exists. We've seen the growth the last couple of years, and now running full-time, good opportunity for him.
And he continued to get better with every truck race, every Xfinity race that he ran last year. And that's what you have to do, keep trying to make gains.
I think you have to put $1 in the jar.
Well, no, I think last year it was the Xfinity Series.
You're allowed to reference that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'd rather you just stop altogether to help us all move forward.
Yeah, please.
Nice job here, 49-43.
Good lap, 49-43. Good pickup from the first round.
Adam Wall going to be the crew chief here. And Adam did a really good job of leading this group last season. One of the great surprises, I guess you would say, from the opening round of qualifying. Patrick Starpoli able to advance to round 2 in the 48 for Big Machine.
One of the coolest stories in NASCAR right now, I'd say, in a lot of respects. Just was a race car driver, tried to get that opportunity, tried to go through some of those programs that give you an opportunity, didn't quite work out, went to school, became an eye doctor, went to Harvard, and now gets this chance at Big Machine Racing in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. So cool, and I was always impressed with what he did last year in those limited starts with Sam Hunt, and just, I think he's going to be fun to watch.
You never want to give up on your dream.
No.
And his dream is to be a race car driver. But when you had made it and you're an eye doctor, an eye surgeon, you would think at that point some of those other things would be put behind you. Not for him at 36 years old. Finally, he gets the opportunity, and he said, I'm going to shelf being an eye doctor for a while. Now, he's still medically and educationally has got to do a lot of things to maintain that side of his life. But he did not want to pass up on this opportunity, and here he is racing at Daytona. And he is second right now in this second round of qualifying.
Well, you heard Adam Wall reference the big pickup for Corey Day. Starpoli did not have that massive pickup. You see second right now overall. He actually was one of those cars that went really late in that first round. Third from the end. I hope Raja got his launch that he talked about in Eden. I told Parker during the break that I think one of the most impressive things about Raja is his work ethic, and he talked about the notes he takes, and I loved in the interview the first thing, you know, when they talked about going back out, he's like, well, listen, I'd never done a launch, and also you could just see like the thought process going through his head of what do I need to do better for this next round, and I think that's what's going to make him successful is the work ethic and always trying to get better.
Yeah, Kim did that interview with him, and what came to mind for me right away is watching Kyle Larson in his press conference the other day when they made the contract extension announcement, and Rick Hendrick is there, and Cliff Daniels and the folks from HendrickCars.com, and just talking about the culture, and then thinking about how Raja fits into that, and his personality, and his attitude, and the way he goes about his business. This is a really good fit, and you just hope the success comes with it so he can go through the growth process. Pretty good lap going here. Nothing for the other HendrickCars.com car, but he does go to second, right behind Corey Day.
Right now, Jamie's real worried about the spotters right now. Right now, side by side, possibly.
Well, right now, Hendrick Automotive Group's pretty pumped. They've got both their cars on the front row.
You gotta love that.
Yes.
Here's the first from the Haas factory team. Sheldon Creed out in the 00. You look at his stat line and really can't talk about him without referencing the fact 15 career runner-up finishes without a victory. That's the most ever. 2 of those second-place finishes coming right here at Daytona International Speedway.
I think this is the most important season of Sheldon Creed's career in a lot of respects.
Why do you say that?
Well, because I think he's been so close to winning. He was pretty open with us that, you know, he's got to break through. I think he's almost any track it's possible, including road courses. There's just no real weaknesses in his game. He's got to get that monkey off his back and hopefully do it early in this season to allow him to just break through here. And I think if he does that, there's multiple wins on the horizon. And so I think if you look at the field here today and in this O'Reilly Auto Parts season, he's definitely got the most pressure on him.
Look how close this is. Right now, he's it's dead even. This is going to be really close to try to jump to the top of the board. Lost a little through the tri-oval. And for Creed, it is good enough. The top 49-43. That's awesome.
But they're tied.
Oh, they are tied.
Good job, everybody. 49-43.
Points is the tiebreaker here, so Creed is in front of Corey Day. That is unbelievable. One right on top of the other. And here's Sam Mayer.
Yeah, those guys, his teammate, Sheldon Creed, they were within about 1/1000 of a second in that first round. We'll see. I thing is I just looked out the window and the flag is just straight out. You're going to see it right here, top of your screen as they exit turn 2. There's a huge flag over there and also one off of turn 4. Catch that wind right or catch it wrong, I think, more importantly. It's a big headwind down the front stretch.
Hey, as Mayer comes back, I want to remind everyone watching on our affiliates that we're going to go away bottom of the hour. So we encourage everyone to go over to the CW app to watch how qualifying wraps up. And for those of you watching on our affiliates, we're back at 4 o'clock Eastern time with pre-race coverage for the season opener here at Daytona. Mayer bringing it back to the line. He'll be the quickest. Plenty of green for him. 49.39. And as he takes P1, we say goodbye to our affiliates and go over to the app. We've seen 7 of 10 cars run in the final round of qualifying here at Daytona for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Sam Mayer leads the way, fastest with a time of 49.399 seconds. Here's Austin Hill. Teammate Jesse Love still to come.
Well, these next 3 in that first round were all so close. This can get shuffled right here. I think it's anybody's battle here to be on the front row. Austin Hill was only a couple of hundredths off of those guys. And I think this will come down to, obviously, how warm the fluids are in the car. But to me, it's going to be the gust of wind or the lack of wind that you get. And that's what he's focused on right now, keeping that wheel straight. And also just listening to the pitch of the engine. You see he's just barely up on that, gaining on it just a little bit. You're hoping you see that flag blowing right down this little short street right here. You're hoping you can get a little bit of momentum picked up. It looks like it's staying, losing a little bit.
New leader in qualifying,
Close.
jumping to the top by 9 thousandths of a second.
It is
Austin Hill. 2
good
to
job
go.
there. P1 so far.
His teammate Jesse Love and the man who led the way in round 1, William Sawala. Cheers the 2, our reigning champion.
Do they find a little bit more? Sometimes these RCR Chevys have done that in the past, where they set a time in that first round, and then the second round, they find a lot more. We've seen that at Atlanta a couple times.
Well, these guys that have been in the top 3 or 4, the pickup is about half of what the bottom half of this top 10 had been.
Not a good start, but it's trending the right direction.
0.04 of a second separate first to fourth right now. And here comes Jesse Love. You referenced he's picking it up, and he is closing on his teammate.
Yeah,
it's teetering.
Yeah, the flag was not stood up quite as much as I'd seen earlier. He's got to hope that wind picks up off 4 to give him the boost that he needs. It's so close. So look at that.
Close. And if he does what his teammate did off of 4 to the start finish.
Oh, it's just
a couple
right
thousand. There it is.
He is right there. Second by 1,000th of a second. That's incredible.
You saw him get mad. No. He looked at the pylon as soon as he went across the start-finish line to see where your number pops up at. You can see, you can read his face.
You know, Love's got 7 career poles at drafting tracks, but only 1 has come here at Daytona International Speedway.
Well, we're going to see if the Toyota can break up this Chevy RCR duo that's on the front row right now.
Well, I said when he made his run in the opening round that he wanted it to be just 1 round of qualifying. He didn't want to have to back it up. We'll see if he's got a little money in the bank.
Not a
here.
good start.
Not a good start at all. This is where Jesse started to pick back up. It's going the right direction. In a big way.
It was.
Yeah, I spoke too soon.
Slowing down a little bit. He's so close to where he was. No, we haven't seen anybody gain that much off of turn 4. It's going to put him 3rd or 4th right now. Oh, that'll be frustrating after you were first. And
yeah, but if you told him beginning of the day you're going to start in the top 5, I think he would have
That's not
Fourth is where he'll be. Row 2 with Sam Mayer. On the pole, Austin Hill. It's his 6th career pole. All 6 poles coming at drafting tracks. Be going for his 4th win of the last 5 years when you talk about season opening races at Daytona. Didn't win here last year, but won the first 2 stages, led the most laps, and then had a mechanical issue. No, he wants to come back strong here later today.
See how excited they are.
Here's Kim Kuhn.
Yeah, Austin Hill looking for his 11th drafting track win. He'll have a good starting position to try and get that job done. Obviously, outright speed in the car, but what can it do later today?
Yeah, I mean, it's Daytona, so anything can happen. Everyone on this Bennett Chevrolet team, everyone at RCR, ECR engines, CT Springs, we just brought a fast Chevrolet today. I was a little worried after the first round, but you know, as a driver, as a team, you don't want to show your hand fully in that first round because you have another round. So it's cool to have RCR on the front row. The only thing I'm a little concerned with about this whole lineup here is the times that I'm sitting on the pole and Love is second. He normally wins the race, and then I win the race. If you look back at the stats, it's like, I don't know, 70% to 30% on times that happens. So if there's anything I'm concerned about, it's Love being second right now.
All right, nice job. Austin Hill, a 3-time winner here in the February Daytona race, looking to make it 4 here tonight.
And that's his 3rd Daytona pole, Kim, and the 14th time that RCR is set on the pole at Daytona. That is the most all-time. It'll be an all RCR front row. Austin Hill leading us to the green alongside his teammate Jesse Love. Here are the top 10.
Well, you got to think the RCR guys, I mean, everyone's got their eye on them if that's who it's going to be but can't wait to see what Corey Day can do starting up there, see if he can stay up all day long.
I think for Toyota and Williams Wallace, that was a really strong showing. They were great here in the top 10. They brought some serious speed. But as always, it's Daytona. Austin said it. Anything can happen. It's going to be worth tuning in.
I was going to say there's a lot of good drivers that weren't on that page.
Oh, yeah.
And we always say it when you come here. If you're in it, you can win it. Qualifying is complete. This is the 19th time that RCR has qualified 1-2, and they'll be lined up to lead us when we put the green flag in the air for 2026 later today. Pre-race coverage on CW begins at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Thank you for watching qualifying. Congratulations, Austin Hill.